Hi, my friends. Welcome to our very first coffee talk episode or video, whatever we're going to call it. I have my coffee in hand and I'm so excited to get started with this video series. And I have a little confession to make, and that's why I'm so excited about this video coffee talk series, is because I have grown up watching those morning talk shows. So, I grew up with Regis and Kelly, or actually, I'm sorry, it was Regis and Kathy at the time when I was young. And then, of course, it went to Regis and Kelly, and now it's Kelly and Michael. But my whole entire life, I have dreamed of being a talk show host. Little weird snippet of just a fun fact about me, but that's kind of weird and embarrassing at the same time. And so I thought this would just be fun because this allows us to drink coffee together, which is one of my very favorite things, and talk about just different issues or things that we want to talk about. And I think for the future, I'd love to get your input on different topics to talk about and discuss. And I'm not an expert. I don't know everything. Clearly I don't know everything, but really, I'm not an expert, but I do research the heck out of most things, and so anything I learn is what I want to share with you, and I know that you probably have a lot of things in mind that you would want to learn more about, so if you have any topics, anything specific that you'd like to discuss over coffee, let me know, because we'll do that, and I'll cover that. So welcome. I'm so excited that you're a part of this, and I hope that you can enjoy it. I hope that you can just kick back, relax, enjoy your coffee, and we'll just chit-chat a little bit, and that's really what this is all about. But hopefully you can learn something too. That's the goal, is to share something informational and awesome with you. And so anyways, I'm just going to pretend like I'm, little Kelly here for a while. Just kidding. But really, maybe. I don't know. Anyways, okay, so, well, first of all, I wanted to tell you what's in my coffee, because I feel like that's kind of important as we are discussing a lot of health topics and just trying to figure out, hey, how do we do this and how do we do it well, and how do we make this a lifestyle? So in my coffee today, I just have some organic half and half. I think it's Horizon is the brand. Anyways, I am typically a very sweet coffee drinker. Like, I just love my coffee being sweet, even just a little bit sweetened. But I also know that that's just extra. Like, I don't need that. You know what I mean? So don't need all the sugar. And so I have force myself into drinking just putting half and half in my coffee, and it's fabulous. I really have learned to love it and appreciate it, and you know what, you kind of end up appreciating the coffee flavor more too, and so you can really enjoy it without it being candy coated. So anyway, so that's what's in my coffee. It's really good. And there's a topic I guess I wanted to cover today. Kind of random, but it just popped in my head this morning, and I thought, oh, that would be good to share. And because we're coming up on spring break, you may or may not be already on spring break or about to head to spring break, but also summer is right around the corner. And my husband and I just moved to Michigan from Texas. And before Texas, we were in Southern California. So I grew up here in Michigan. So I came from the cold and then moved to Southern California, where it was really sunny and beachy and everything. I missed the seasons a lot while I lived there, just because when you grow up in a place that has all four seasons that are just gorgeous, it's really hard to get away from that, even though I enjoyed the beach. You can't get me wrong on that one. So then we moved to Texas, which was a little bit of a shock because the summers are brutal, but the weather, the rest of the year is decent, and so you definitely don't have as much snow as you would here up in the north, clearly, and this year is crazy. It's so crazy. So anyways, I wanted to talk a little bit more about spring break and summertime and how to prepare for those things and your health, because, they're right around the corner. And for some of you who may live in California and you're like, yeah, but, it's 75 today, just hang in there with me. Just stick with us through the rest of the video. But I want to encourage you, to my fellow Northerners now, that spring is right around the corner, summer is right around the corner, bathing suit season. So what I want to talk about is foods that cause bloating. man, I tell you what, this is about the time where, as a fitness coach, I get a lot of questions and people wanting to know, like, how do I have 20 pounds to lose. How do I get that off? And I'm like, let's forget the 20 pounds for a little bit, because first of all, you've got like 2 weeks until spring break. We're not going to lose 20 pounds in 2 weeks. Not healthy, not a good idea. And you'll probably end up gaining 40 after spring break. So, so I think my personal opinion for you is that you focus more on fighting the bloat right away and starting to cut out the bad foods rather than trying to crash diet, quick fix, just like something that's just going to be miserable for you. So I would recommend personally start cutting out the foods that cut down on bloating so you don't feel miserable while you are getting ready and preparing for spring break and when you get there. So let's talk about a couple foods that cause bloating. First of all, dairy products. So cheeses and milks and things like that. Those can typically cause a lot of bloating. Now, the people who struggle with like lactose intolerance, clearly they're going to struggle more and they're probably going to avoid those foods at all costs. But I think all of us are lactose intolerant, probably to a small degree. And I'm not a doctor, so don't take my word for that. But I think everybody to some degree probably experiences some bloating with dairy foods. It's just the lactose and it's just how our bodies, but the thing is too, is that nowadays milk, like regular cow's milk, is so highly processed that you really aren't getting many nutrients out of it at all. They've added a lot of stuff to it, and so when you take out nutrients and replace it with something man-made, your body's not gonna know what to do with it anyway. So I would just say switch to a nut milk if you can. A lot of times, obviously, that'll even alleviate other problems as well. So avoid milk, I think, altogether. Obviously, I used half and half in my coffee, enough to get me by, but not enough to really cause too many issues. So, but just keep an eye on that because everybody's different. You got to watch that. Another thing that causes bloating is soda, or pop as they call it up here in Michigan. Just avoid soda altogether. Just avoid it. It's just not good. It's so bad. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. So cut it out. Make that one of the very first things that you cut out. Like, just get rid of it. Don't go back, especially diet soda with all the really crappy artificial sweeteners in it. Just don't do it. Just avoid it at all costs. Another thing that you should cut out for spring break and forever, really. Well, not forever. Not this. But grains can a lot of times cause a lot of bloating, because if there's fiber and stuff in it, your body can, especially if you have a lot of fiber all at once, obviously your body's going to just start, it'll bloat. It just will. And so, keep your grains to a minimum, keep your portion sizes small, and make sure you're eating good grains, sprouted grains. Don't do anything too crazy, but just make sure you're eating good grains. Another thing, but those are the main things that I would say avoid right now. And then another thing is be careful of not overeating. When you overeat, you tend to bloat big time. We all know this. It's like, man, in fact, I was going to say the other day, I was trying on a dress at Nordstrom Rack in Dallas, and it was this beautiful dress, and I'm pregnant, so, it's going to be a struggle anyway. But we had a really big lunch. I overate, and I tried on this dress. I literally had to, pull it off of my body as soon as I could because it was so tight, it, made me sick to my stomach. And so overeating, I was definitely bloated on top of being pregnant. Let's talk about miserable, right? Okay, so anyways, so overeating. So make sure you're eating good portion sizes and portion sizes that fit what you're trying to do, and you're just maintaining a healthy lifestyle. Don't go crazy, and don't overeat, but don't undereat either. You really have to find a good balance to where you're not hungry throughout the day. Hunger is not a good sign, okay? Remember that. Hunger's not a good sign. Another thing, obviously, too many carbs will cause bloating. Well, lots of carbs. Heavy pasta dishes and casseroles and lots of potatoes and stuff like that. That's going to cause bloating. And then finally, stress. Ugh, stress. Too much stress causes bloating. I've been there. I used to struggle with anxiety. I have a video on it on my YouTube channel if you want to check it out. But I get it. Bloating, in fact, that was probably the worst bloating, was when I had stress. So avoid stress. If you're going on spring break, that's going to be a blast. So you shouldn't be stressed about that. So you shouldn't experience bloating from stress. Anyways, so those are my 2 cents on that, on bloating in summertime and spring break and trying to get prepared. So like I said, don't think of it as like, oh my gosh, I got to crash diet, I got to cut out all these things, and I got to, cut my calories and restrict and blah, blah, blah. Start by just simply cutting out the foods that cause bloating. Eat really good whole foods so you're really giving your body the nourishment that it needs. You're not cutting calories. Forget the calories. Just forget the calories. Just focus on whole foods that are going to be really nutritious for your body, that are going to fuel you, and focus on that. And that's really ultimately what's going to allow you to feel good when you go on spring break, and then it's something you can maintain afterwards. You're not on a crash diet that like now you came back and, like I said, you've gained 40 pounds because you crash dieted so hard before spring break, and now you're worse off than you were before you started. So anyway, so those are my 2 cents. I I hope that this was beneficial for you. I hope that you've enjoyed our coffee talk, and that you've enjoyed your coffee this morning. I won't keep you much longer. Just wanted to cover that topic and just say thank you for joining us today. And I'll do another coffee talk this week. And let me know if you have any topics that you want covered or any questions that you want to ask me. It can be about anything. And that's what's so fun about this, is we get to just hang out and chat over coffee and talk about anything. So thanks for being here. Hope this helped, and I will catch you later this week.